Why, hello! Today we're going to talk about the cusp of Sagittarius Capricorn, and Cancer together. The compatibility, yes. It doesn't take long for you and your Cancer to realize how innocent your romance is. However, that doesn't mean that you come across as shallow to each other. Neither one of you likes to settle for the way things are. You're both working on yourselves and improving your love life. It's important to open up to your loved one and the people in your life. Learn to be more generous with your time and your love. Your mind is your greatest enemy. You must be careful to not let it disrupt what you have with your Cancer, because it could doom you both. You might be coming across as stuck up, and that is something you need to check in with yourself about. There is this awe factor for your Cancer. They're not sure what to make of you at first. They would be intrigued by you. Although in the beginning, they would feel conflicted about feeling that way about you. You know when something's just so weird that it fascinates you and you just can't look away, but at the same time you're like, what am I looking at? That is the Cancer's experience sometimes with you. But the heart wants what the heart wants. And any good usually outweighs the bad. Your relationship is all about your dreams and your imagination. You both have the same understanding that the pain is worth it. Even if you both have to confront different parts of your past that you never thought you would think about again. If it brings you both closer and strengthens your bonds, then there are no regrets. It's all about exploring each other. You both want what's best for each other and you're there for each other. You both celebrate the small wins and achievements. Make sure you know what that support is. It doesn't mean criticizing, even if it's constructive criticism. So make sure that you're supporting them and they don't feel like you are judging them. And this goes both ways. Your Cancer would be equally guilty about this. Is there lipstick on my nose? Wow. I'm not surprised. Or Cancer can come across as a dream come true. It will be so easy to just jump into things with them, but you need to make sure you know where you're going with them. Alright? Love is blind, but you don't have to be. What you see is what you get. You need to understand that truth now. If you want things to change, then you're going to have to approach them and see them for what they are in this moment. You can be kind of overwhelming at times, and you need to look out for this kind of behavior because it will affect your relationship. When you have a favorite hobby, you have a tendency to go all in with it. Like if you're into baseball, you might have a shelf with all the baseball memorabilia of the team that you root for. Like you make it very clear what your team is. Or even if you like Apple over PC, you're going to be all in when it comes to Apple. You're gonna get the latest iPhone, you know, and the MacBook, whatever. And those are habits that might come across as a little materialistic to a Cancer. They might feel a little uncertain about it. They might really like you, but some of the things that you do just can really throw them off. Having fun is never an issue for the both of you. You have a very amusing connection, and you go through life together in a very candid way. You both know that it is what is within that matters, not what's on the outside. You don't really judge appearances. But just because you both understand each other on a deeper level doesn't mean that your connection is good. In fact, things can be deeply flawed and have the opposite effect. Fantasies are not a bad thing. But in order for you to work with your Cancer, you're going to need to keep your head on your shoulders a little more. You could run away with your Cancer tonight, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have a happy ever after in any way. It's important that you understand that getting lost in your fantasies is okay, but that feeling won't last forever. There is a more sustainable way of going about things with your Cancer. Your love can either be a mirage, which it often ends up being, or it can be real and solid, but it might mean more work. Hey, relationships take work. You might not realize this when you're dating, but as soon as you start living together and consistently spending time together, you'll realize that you both go about your lives very differently, and you need to find a way to be on the same wavelength. So work on figuring out where you both stand and finding a way to meet each other on the same level. I wouldn't say you're super materialistic, but a lot of Sagittarius Capricorn cusps really like technology or merch or things that are just pointless to a Cancer. You both need space and you like to have your own hobby, and you're not always open about them with your Cancer. In fact, it might feel like you have to keep things from them, and your relationship will sort of adapt to your needs. You might feel like your relationship needs to be a certain way, and you expect it to be that way. And if it isn't that way, then something is wrong. And this can make you both feel very exhausted. Cancer will really try to make you see the bright side in life. They will struggle to make you more open and encourage you to voice your feelings. They want you to be more specific and less indecisive. This is a very playful relationship, and you're really going to want to keep it that way. Never lose the inner child you both have together. I know that sounds kind of weird. The minute you get too serious and you grow up, that's the same minute that things just fall apart. But still, you just have to remember to keep up with what you have to get done. And don't let all this silliness turn you into an immature person, but let loose with your Cancer. See where your love takes you. Just be you. And stop trying to show them who you can be. You might often feel frustrated with your Cancer. They might expect you to be more emotional and deep than you really are. It doesn't mean that you aren't deep, but they think that there is more to you, and you're like, stop looking for more. I'm here. I'm good enough, you know, like, sure, I've got layers, but I'm not that deep. I'm not like a pit of darkness. Come on. I'm right here. I'm awesome. How profound do you need me to be? Gosh. Satisfied yet? And it takes you a while for you to really share the darkest parts of yourself. Your secrecy is so important to the both of you. So the hardcore stuff doesn't really get expressed until later on. You both expect a lot from each other. And when one of you messes up, you don't just forgive and forget easily. You can't just come up with a last-minute explanation or excuse. Nope. You both expect more than that. You don't like feeling pressured, and when you feel like a Cancer is trying to change you or make you more open and positive, it might repulse you. As friends, you don't go through many hard times. And if you do, it's very quick, and you learn from those experiences. Lower your standards if you want things to go well. You need to build up your self-esteem. Cancer has your back. You can usually depend on them. Honesty is very important for this couple. Neither one of you deals with stress well, so you won't really know what to do with excuses or mistakes. It can be very upsetting. You march to the rhythm of your own drum, and a Cancer may try to fuck with that, but you won't like it. A Cancer may find that when they're with you, their intellectual side shows more. As friends, you usually hang out one-on-one because you don't really like to include a lot of people. But I encourage you to try to involve others in your friendship. It will make it better. You both really have to work on chilling out and not worrying about all the obstacles that come your way. As parents, your kids can usually be very resilient and stubborn. Obviously, it depends on the kids' charts and all of that, but this is very common for this couple as parents. Their kids end up being stubborn and resilient. See, you both have a tendency to let darkness take over and consume you, but your relationship would be the light. It would be very good for you mentally and emotionally for you to be together. You both share a perfectionist mentality when you're together. You need to lower your standards because they are unrealistic. Don't be so hard on yourselves if you can't meet each other's expectations. You may be struggling with the idea that your Cancer is too good to be true. You may not really get what your Cancer sees in you. You're less outgoing than they are usually. You get along in so many ways and have many things to connect over, like music, games, experiences, like art, sports. As friends, you can get lost in your minds, always thinking, and the gears are always turning. And this can cause so much stress and nervousness and bad vibes. You will really need to focus on getting out of your head. Your mind can be a ticking time bomb. Your kids are usually much more introverted than you, and you both usually spend a lot of time trying to push them out of their comfort zone. Even when you get into trouble, your Cancer is there right by your side. The passion in your romances can be very intense. You get swept away in a dream world. Your childish side comes out, and you can seem over-emotional and naive. You both suffer from having your head in the clouds, and you might be in for a wake-up call. Things are just not realistic. You are more the damsel in distress in the relationship, and the Cancer is often the one who swoops in and saves you, no matter what your gender is. Like, this isn't a thing like that. But Cancer is usually the hero. And you might feel like you just don't deserve them. But it's important to just try and accept that you are both equal and well matched, at least at some point. Cancer might get exasperated with your insecurity. If you don't figure it out, you have a very close bond as friends. You need to do a lot of physical activities together so you won't get stuck in your head. Like going to the gym, or taking a dance class, mountain climbing, or sex. That's a physical activity. You want people to like you both. For some reason, the approval of those around you means a lot for your relationship. You both like it when your relationship is very strongly supported by others. Cancer is very loyal to you. The passion that you have for each other at first may not last very long. It starts off very intense and then it kind of fizzles out. And that's mostly because you both blindly dive into things without being realistic. You have very profound feelings, and your Cancer is much more of the fantasizer than you. But together you will create your own reality. It might be very overwhelming and difficult to navigate, but keep your head on your shoulders. You have to get the approval from those you love to make it work. Do not get married without their consent. If your family isn't into it, then don't go any further, because it will be a test for the success of your marriage. Speaking of marriage, you won't get there unless you can take more responsibility. If you can't take care of things, then you can't be married to each other. Don't ever lose that playfulness, but make some adult decisions. And make sure you know what you're marrying into. Your ideas about marriage might be very unrealistic. It's time to figure out what is fantasy and what is fact. It may be very difficult to live up to the image of marriage that you both have. You would definitely be the immature one. Cancer would be more of the adult in this combo. When you can't really figure out your love life, you both come up with your own fantasy about what it should look like. And you may not realize it, but you kind of set yourself up for failure that way. You use it to get away from your problems and your difficult truths. But you need to be realistic and see it for what it is. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are a Sagicorn, the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, or if you are a Cancer, I would love to hear from you in the comments section below. Let me know what you think. I am so interested. Okay, share your stories, your thoughts, like, do you disagree? Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Remember, if you want to see other videos like with your cusp, then you can definitely go on the playlist and look for the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn. All right, bye-bye. Mwah.